What's up, everybody? It's your boy Deshaun, and welcome to another episode of Average Joe Sports Vegas Bowl Edition. Yeah, baby! Going back into bowl weekend. I'm excited. You should be too. Why? Because the dogs are playing. We're just gonna jump right into it because that's the way I like to do things sometimes. Usually, I give you some funky anecdote about what I'm doing in theater, but I'm on break. Woo! Anyway, the Mako Las Vegas Bowl. We are playing number 19 Boise State in Las Vegas, Nevada. Beautiful, beautiful place. I wish I could be there. I hope the marching band is having a great time and enjoying the sights. Hopefully you don't gamble away your per diem because that would be wrong. And, you can't do that. Just saying. Ask Rick Neuheisel. So, we're just gonna again jump right into it. Boise State is ranked number 19 by the BCS. They are 10-2 overall, 7-1 in the Mountain West Conference, which will be debunked after this season. They're going to make the jump to the Big East, which ironically is what TCU was going to do before they got an offer from the Big 12 for next season. But that's this whole super conference thing is making everything wonderful. Their last game was against Nevada. They beat them 27-21 at Nevada. Again, this Boise State team is a great team no matter where they play. They play well on the road. They play well at home. They play well at neutral sites. This team only has one goal in mind. That one goal is to win by any means necessary. They can beat you ugly. They can beat you with finesse. They can beat you with trick plays. Ask Oklahoma. Fiesta Bowl. I'm telling you. I met an Oklahoma fan, and all I mentioned was Boise State Fiesta Bowl, and he turned like 50 shades of red. It was amazing, and it made me giggle. In that game, they're led by quarterback Joe Southwick. During the game against Nevada, he went 19 of 26 for 199 yards and 2 touchdowns. Again, they can beat you in the air. Matt Miller was for receivers. Matt Miller had 7 receptions, 172 yards, and 1 touchdown. Also followed by Chris Potter with 5 receptions, 42 yards, and 1 touchdown. So again, they can beat you on the ground. They can beat you in the air. DJ Harper led all rushers with 7 receptions, 172 yards, and a touchdown. Followed by AJ J. The name is very difficult. Boise State fans, feel free to correct me at any time. But he had 9 carries for 51 yards. Again, multifaceted team. They can also beat you on the defensive side of the ball as well. Again, this is a high-flying conference. They like to throw the ball around, so passing yards are probably going to be up just naturally. But they gave up 430 total yards to Nevada. But ironically, Boise State defense is actually ranked 9th nationally for defense with 300.7 yards against not per game, but for the whole season. So again, this is a team. This is a defense that can definitely make you make mistakes, which could be a huge problem for the Dogs. Keith Price, he plays a much more conservative game, but at the same time, I don't know how this is going to mesh well with against this team. The Dogs, however, they are not ranked. They were ranked 25th going into Apple Cup, but we'll talk about the results of that here in just a second. They're 7-5 overall, 5-4 in the Pac-12. So we finished 2 games above 500 and 1 game above 500 in conference play, which puts us exactly where we were last season. So this is the first season that we haven't shown any improvement. We were trying to get that 8th win in the regular season. Now we have to try for that 8th win in the postseason, which postseason wins, in my opinion, don't count because they're after the season's over. For example, in every sport, really, once you go into the postseason, your record from the regular season doesn't count anymore. It just doesn't. Like you shouldn't add wins, but this is what they do in college. But last game they played was Apple Cup. They lost in Pullman. They lost to Wazoo 31-28 in overtime. It should not have gone to overtime, but the Huskies kind of started to play to their competition, thinking that we got this game in the bag. I said in my previous vlog for my Apple Cup preview that the Dogs need to make sure they step on the throats of the Cougs and not let up, because in a rivalry game you can't afford to goof off. You can't lose focus against your rival, because they're going to try to do anything and everything to play spoiler, and they did that. So good on the Cougs to make us have to try and earn our victory, and ultimately we wound up not doing so. They actually wound up earning the victory, and they snatched victory out of the jaws of defeat. They did, and there's really that much that can be said. They played 4 quarters and some change of football, which is something that the Dogs did not do. They lost focus in the 4th quarter with an 18-point lead and let it all go away. I don't necessarily blame Coons, our kicker. I don't blame him. Like, he shaped the kick that he should have made. Yeah, I'll give him that. But at the same time, that kick should not have been necessary. It shouldn't have. The game should have been over, but it wasn't. But and the Cougs won. That's just the best way to look at it. Keith Price on that day was 20 of 31, 194 yards and 2 touchdowns. Unfortunately, he had that 1 interception first play into overtime. That's really unfortunate, because you don't want to go out that way. And I, like a lot of fans, kind of got on Keith Price and tried to put the loss on Keith Price, when really the loss is on the entire team. I mean, the interception was just the kind of really the ice, the cherry on top of the cake in this case. So, I feel bad. He actually had a really good game. He still kind of threw like he normally does. Hovers around, the low 2s, high in the high 100s. So he actually had a really decent game. He just didn't finish the job. That's all it was. But again, like I said earlier, it shouldn't have been necessary. Plain and simple. Bishop Sankey had 26 carries, 91 yards, 2 touchdowns. They were getting it done on the ground. They were also getting it done in the air too. Cason Williams, 8 receptions, 83 yards. Austin Safarian Jenkins, proving that less is more, 5 receptions, 38 yards, and a touchdown. Again, he finds a way to make himself a vital part of the game. That's something that I think is going to be key in this bowl game against Boise State. And also Cody Burns had two receptions, 20 yards, and a touchdown. So, I mean, again, you don't necessarily need 100 yards, to make a difference. Sometimes it is just the little things. And that is something that the Dogs and Keith Price are actually very good at. I actually get scared when Keith Price has to throw a pass over 15 yards. I do. I get a little bit concerned, because the accuracy isn't all there. And it's really not necessarily an accuracy thing. It's a touch thing. And I think that's something that, as he matures as a quarterback, is going to it's going to come, because he's got the mind to do it. He's got the smarts to do it, and he does have the arm to do it. He just needs to find the finesse. That's all. Plain and simple. I still believe in Keith Price. I still believe in him. The defense on that night actually did really, really good job. They only played 3 quarters of football was the problem. They gave up 369 total yards, but they made the offense earn all the yards they got. They had 2 interceptions on the day. They also they made Jeff Toole and the Coug offense look absolutely silly for 3 quarters. Again, there are 4 quarters in the game. 60 minutes, 3 hours to play 60 minutes. They did not get it done at the end of the day. That's just the way it is. In the sense of where we are ranked as a defense, we're actually ranked 30th overall in defense, which isn't bad, but it's not all that great either. To give you an idea of where we are as a conference, Stanford's 21st in the nation in defense. ASU is 36th. Oregon State is 33rd. Oregon is 47th. The rest of the Pac-12 doesn't crack the top 50. We're an offensive conference. There's nothing wrong with that, but it does play a role in bigger games against bigger teams. And this happens to be one of those times. Comparing and contrasting, both teams, I think, on the offensive side of the ball are relatively even. I think this game is going to come down to which defense can hold can hold the most. And right now, unfortunately, as bad as I want to be a homer about this, I have to give the advantage to Boise State. I'm giving a very slight advantage, but only because these two teams do know each other relatively well. Though they haven't played each other since, I want to say, 2007. I want to say it was the last time they played. But again, this is a kind of a cross-state rivalry game going on. But I think that the Dogs can pull this game out if they get up like they did against Stanford, like they did against Oregon State. And and if they do that and they win, great. However, I'm going to question, where was this at Apple Cup? I'm going to have to question that, simply because it was there for 3 quarters, and suddenly in the 4th quarter it just disappeared. I know I'm spending a lot of time analyzing what happened in the previous game because it's something that is of good note to have. The Dogs cannot play like they did at the end of the Apple Cup. They cannot afford to. They will get demolished by Boise State. Boise State is a great team. Boise State is not a team that should be looked past. And I know a lot of people still go, oh, well, it's just Boise State. They're still a small school. Again, you tell that to Oklahoma. You tell that to Virginia Tech. You tell that to Oregon. You tell that to Oregon State. This is a legit team. They are as advertised, and they want to ram the ball down other teams' throats. That's what they want to do. They're out to prove a point that the little engine can and does do well. And this kind of game on national TV, albeit it's at 12:30, but again, a big game on national TV is the perfect platform for Boise State to prove their point yet again. Again, the Dogs have got to focus. I believe in you, but I gotta give the advantage to Boise State in this game. That being said, I'm gonna say whoever wins is probably gonna win by 2 touchdowns. Whoever does win, because it's gonna be a close fought game, high scoring. Somebody's defensive coordinator might actually get fired. Just saying. But yeah, that's really all I got today. I hope you guys are having a great holiday season. I know Hanukkah just ended here a few days ago, so happy belated Hanukkah to everybody. Kwanzaa, I believe, is around the corner. Christmas, the usual. I hope you guys are enjoying your figgy pudding, which I've never had. I don't even know what goes in figgy puddings other than figs. And your eggnog, which I absolutely hate. So that being said, happy holidays. Go Dogs. Let's beat the Broncos. Peace out. Love y'all. Enjoy your break.